Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the latest edition of the Fargo Force Show. Our guest this week is Force forward Grant Meyer from Curtis, Ohio. It's Grant's third season in the USHL. You spent a couple of seasons, parts of seasons with Youngstown, the team out of your home state, and now you were traded to the Force midway through this season. So, been here for 11 games, 6 goals, and 5 assists for you early on. Grant, first of all, what was it like playing for a team in your home state, and then talk about being traded mid-season to the Force?
It was really nice playing in my home state. You know, all my parents could come to the game, all my family. And then mid-season, it was out of the blue, you know, and when it happened, I was kind of nervous of how I didn't really know much about Fargo, but, I mean, it's been kind of a blessing in disguise. I mean, I get a lot of opportunity here, and I'm really happy to be here.
Was this, I was going to say, that's one of the things, kind of a blessing in disguise. I mean, you never know exactly what's going to go on, but was it kind of needed? Were you playing the way you wanted to? If for Youngstown, did it kind of catch you totally by surprise, or was it maybe kind of a good change to maybe fire up your motor again a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it did. In Youngstown, I wouldn't say I was happy. I wasn't playing that much, but I was playing on the fourth line, and I was doing what I like to do. You know, they kind of wanted me to play a tougher, like agitator type role. But I mean, I didn't get to play that much, and then coming here, I've been given a lot of opportunity, and I'm just running with it.
Nice. Now, you're one of 4 or 5 guys that the Force have added in the last 2 months. Coach Eads, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but not afraid to do some trading. What do you think about all those new guys? Have you guys kind of formed maybe a little bit of a bond, some of your new guys saying, okay, we're here to kind of shake things up and to try to get this Force train rolling in the right direction, as opposed to a little 2 steps forward, 2 steps back that they've been doing most of the season?
Yeah, no, I mean, every guy we've picked up, I mean, credit to our staff and Coach Eads and them, they really know what they're doing. Jerry has been unbelievable for us, the defenseman. He plays real tough, and, you know, he's doing that every night. And Charlie Gerard, another player who is producing really well for our team. And then just getting Nico. I mean, his first game he had a goal. He's meshing well. But, yeah, I think all the guys are really bonding really well, and it's good for the team.
Well, the Force have been 6-4 in their last 10, so it's definitely showing a few signs. What are your strengths on the ice, Grant? What do you think you do the best?
My strengths, I think, are my hockey IQ. I think I can read plays before maybe they happen, and that gives me a step over the opposing team. And then I think just my work ethic and ability to win puck battles. You know, I can make plays, too. I can kind of I play with Dennis Smirnov and Blake Lazat right now. And, you know, they can take care of the puck.
I was going to say, that's never a bad thing, right?
Yeah, no.
Make it a little easier on you?
Yeah, as long as I just get to the spots, you know, I know they'll find me. But the big thing is just winning puck battles so I can get them the puck, and then, you know, they'll make plays.
As we said, 11 games with the Force so far. What is the vibe that you've gotten? I mean, you've only played 11 games, but what have you kind of felt? Have you felt like this team is on the verge of kind of breaking out and getting into some, you know, winning more than losing type mode?
Yes, for sure. I mean, in the last 10 games, like you said, we really are making some strides. And, I mean, we're going right now. The guys, everybody's behind it. Everybody believes in what we're doing, and we're playing a really tough style, and teams don't like to play us.
Well, since our last Force show, the team has played 4 games, going 2-2. The Force tried for a season-high 4-game winning streak as they hosted second-place Tri-City. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. The Force, their Tri-City jumped out to a 3-0 second-period lead when the Force was awarded a penalty shot. None other than today's guest, Grant Meyer. Walk us through this one.
Well, I got hooked on a breakaway, and then it was my first penalty shot ever. So, you know, I was kind of nervous, and I just took it nice and slow, and the 5-hole was open, so
nice.
I just shot it there.
3-1 Force trailed after that. Final seconds, you strike again to make it 3-2, 2 back-to-back goals. And then now watch this huge hit by Hugo Reinhardt. The Force playing some, like you said, physical stuff. Worth another look on that one there by Hugo. However, you guys trailed 5-2 in the third before rallying again after pulling your goalie, Hank Crone, with the blast off the point. 5-3 with 48 seconds left in the game. That's worth another look. That one somehow sneaks through a bunch of guys. Still with the goalie pulled now, the Force strike again. Charlie Gerard flips in this backhand to make it 5-4. Unfortunately, time ran out. The Force 3-game winning streak ends 5-4 the final. You had 2 goals, as we mentioned, but the Storm 3 for 5 on the power play. Really efficient there. They win, putting up 5 despite getting outshot 40-30. So the same 2 teams back at it the next night on Saturday. It was scoreless in the second period. The Force with a man advantage. And Zach Jans starts the scoring, bearing the rebound. 1-0 Force. Jans Final game as a member of the Force. More on that in a minute. After the Storm scored in the second, it stayed tied into the third, thanks in part to Ryan Wishow. Good work in net, 27 saves. There's a couple of them there. In the third, Dennis Smirnov, mentioned by Grant earlier, fakes the shot, gets by the defenseman, then wires in the wrister far side. That's worth another look. But Tri-City scored with 20 seconds left to tie it and send it into overtime, where it would end. Jerry Astrin from Charlie Gerard, ball game there. Force win it 3-2, a big win and a weekend split of the Storm for the Force there in OT. 5:52, the winning goal by Astrin there. And as I mentioned, now Coach Eads continues to be not afraid of shaking things up. 2 days after this win, he traded Zach Jan, the third leading scorer on the team, to Waterloo for forward Nico Hildenbrand and a fourth-round pick. You talked a little bit about it, Grant, but always kind of interesting to say, you know what, hey, this guy's been a pretty good player on our team, but you know what, we feel like we maybe can get something better or maybe need to shake it up a little bit, and Coach not afraid to make a move.
Yeah, no, I mean, they know what they're doing, and sometimes it's just good to switch things up a little bit, and, if things aren't working, to make those trades. I mean, it's not really a high risk because we need wins, and I think it was good. I think, it worked out for all parties involved. Like, Zach's going to a place where he's going to like it. Nico's coming here, and he's going to like it, and everything just works out. And
as we saw, he scored in his first game as a member of Force, Nico did. So the next weekend then, Friday and Saturday, February 5th and 6th. I guess I teased it a little too early. There's the Friday game. The Force fall in the first game at Green Bay 4-1. As we mentioned, Hillenbrand scored in his first game with the Force, the only goal for the Force, as you guys fell behind 3-0 and lose it. 62 penalty minutes for the Force in that one, and just 10 shots on goal. But the next night, you bounce back in a big way. The Force win it 3-2 in a shootout. Crone and Gerard get the goals in the shootout. Smirnov and Lazat with the goals in regulation, and Wishow another nice effort in net. 29 saves, so a big split. Green Bay was the second place team in the USHL's Eastern Conference there. So as we take a look at the standings now after the last 4 games in the USHL's Western Conference, no change among the top, Lincoln and then Tri-City. But look who's sneaking up all of a sudden now. The Force with 38 points, just 2 spots back of that all-important fourth and final playoff spot. Waterloo and Sioux Falls with 40 points. The Force tied with Des Moines for 38. What do you see when you look at that, Grant?
I mean, we're right there. That's what it shows me. I mean, and especially when I got traded here and early in the season, we would, win 2 games and then lose 3, or win 2 and lose 2. But now I think it's more we're winning 3 and losing 1, or, so I think we're making moves right now, and it's showing in the standings. I mean, every time we win, the standings look better.
And the closest that you guys have been to that fourth playoff spot all season, basically.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule now. The Force, see if they can keep up their winning ways here. 3 home games coming up for the Force. Friday, Saturday, February 12th and 13th, you host Youngstown, your old squad, so that'll be interesting. Any comments on how that will feel for you?
I'm going to be really excited to play that game. I mean, I got really close with the guys on Youngstown and the coaches and stuff like that, and I just, I want to play really good and beat them.
And they're having a good season in the Eastern Conference. Saturday, by the way, is Purple and Pucks night for cancer awareness at the Force. Then on Monday, a special Monday night game, February 15th versus Omaha. It's Star Wars night, and it's also versus the third place team in your conference. So a tough matchup there. You've lost the only game with Omaha this season. Then the next weekend you go on the road, 19th and 20th at Sioux City and at Sioux Falls. Both those teams always very good. And as always, you can go to fargoforce.com for tickets. What do you think about those 5 games, Grant? Just sum it up. Very important, and all of them are going to be tough. No lower level teams in there.
Yeah, it's going to be, our next 5 games are going to be tough. But I mean, we can beat all those teams. Sioux City, we've done it. Sioux Falls, we've done it. Youngstown, and I haven't played Omaha personally, but I mean, I know what we can do, and if everybody's going, we can win all those games.
Now, playing Youngstown, your former team, will you be able to give the coaching staff a little tips or anything that can kind of benefit your squad in playing those guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being there for half the season, I mean, I know their systems, I know their tendencies, and I'll definitely talk to coaches about that. So
now, one final story before we go here with Grant. You have an interesting story from your youth. You were stuck on an elevator, and not just for a few minutes either. Tell us about that.
Well, what happened, I believe I was 10 or 11 years old, and I was playing for the youth team, and we had a tournament in Chicago, and all the boys, we're just running around having a good time, and we get on the elevator. It's me and 3 other guys, and one of the dads wants to save the elevator, so he takes a knee hockey stick and shoves it in the door. The doors close. We start moving. We see the stick going up the door, and all of a sudden it just stops, and we just come to a complete stop. We're freaking out. We're little, guys are crying and stuff. We just start ringing the alarm and like hitting the emergency button, and then the fire department came, said you guys are gonna be okay and everything, and then about an hour and a half later, we ended up getting out.
Stuck on an elevator for an hour and a half, huh?
Mm-hmm.
With how many guys?
Me and then 3 other guys, so 4 total.
Interesting experience. Not a lot of people can say they were stuck in an elevator for more than maybe a couple minutes. So, well, hopefully the force can get on that elevator and keep going and not get stuck. They've been doing pretty well lately, and hopefully they can keep going. Grant, thanks for being here this week. I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Grant Meyer, our guest this week on the Fargo Force Show. We'll see you next time, everybody.